Good evening, everybody, and welcome to That's Good Pasta, our creepypasta podcast about. What are they about, Jared?
Spaghetti.
Oh, spaghetti. Pasta. Pasta. That's it. Anyway, I'm Thomas, and with me, as always, is my producer, my tech boy, my scamp of scamps of That's Good Stuff, and his name would be
Jared.
There you go. Thing is, I kind of set him up for it because I said it beforehand, so this is on me, not on him. So I'm going to give props to myself, not Jared.
I have cue cards on the screen, and it was like, now. And I was like,
I made sure that he had them because I can't afford it for him to keep messing up like this. It's embarrassing.
Even if you didn't, I could just edit myself saying, Jared, if I needed to.
Well, today, everybody, we have an ongoing series that we have been covering since this is our first one that we ever did, was Horror from the Vault. And today we have Horror from the Vault, Halcyon.
Not the ash cloud.
Well, that's the thing is, Halcyon, I think, is from the ash cloud. The Halcyon Wellness Center, I think, right?
Yeah. But it's not a suggestive title like Ash Cloud.
Ash Cloud. Or To Grow a Garden. This one, so our previous installments, the first one was the Horror from the Vault, the original. That's where the horror actually came out of wherever they found it. The second one was Ash Cloud, which was, it's not a sequel, it's basically happened at the same time as Ash Cloud, and it was this guy's retelling. This guy's personal journal entries, basically.
Dear Journal, the comment section was fire today.
Saying, hey, this is me existing in this really crappy situation, and then more crappy situation is when the horror from the vault came into his town and started, to run amok. And then To Grow a Garden was kind of almost like an anthology, separate story.
Is that the one with the fly thing?
Yeah, it's the one where where the infection got swept up in the water and floated all the way across to England, basically. And he picked it up in the river and brought it back to his apartment.
His fresh baby boy. Yeah,
it started assimilating pretty much the entire city from that apartment. And so this one, Halcyon, is basically a war journal of sorts.
It's like World War Z.
Definitely inspired by World War Z. Super, super duper inspired by it. Because this takes place kind of after the first two events. And some of the preceding, we're not quite sure how much time has passed from the initial infection outbreak or whatever.
Sometime, because they talk about an old government and a
old
new government.
The world has moved on. We don't even know how, if the infection's still around or what's going on.
Well, there's a lot of you'll get into it, but a lot of amalgamation creatures from the other ones. So
yeah, and basically the horror has created an army of sorts, and it's still kind of hiding out in the woods where it can. People still don't know exactly what's going on, and this whole story breaks up into two parts. One is at the initial outbreak, which is it covers a police officer or a policewoman officer, as to quote Hot Fuzz, and it's basically her. To be honest, this part was probably the least interesting for me. But it did have a really interesting visual of, we had those bed sheet ones that kind of come down and take people.
I like the one with the rib cage that opens up.
Rib cage, and basically this is just her accounting of the first few hours of the outbreak when it first hit the world, kind of an open thing.
She has something against Jared. She
doesn't
really get into it.
I was gonna say she did not like Jared, but Jared tried his damnedest.
I was listening to it, and she's like, Steven, Jared, and I was like, what did he do?
But yeah, I'll be honest. This one was probably the least interesting. It just didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing takes, it's from the perspective of these two historians, is what they call themselves. He says, well, like the opening line is, as a historian, I have to take a larger happening dissect of. Oh, good lord, that is a terrible transcript. Basically, he has to take a wider view of the world.
Yeah.
Also, I couldn't find the original writing for this. I have to go by the transcript from the video, and the video transcript is not the best because more palatable to my readers, and that can obviously be difficult. So, apparently,
the interviewer lady that interviews the soldier, she was not a good interviewer.
Not a good. I feel sorry for her. I think this was like her first voiceover job, because we also listened to the Mr. Creepypasta video of this one, and you could definitely tell she was nervous. So it kind of, the soldier guy was pretty good.
The soldier guy was great.
He was like the cop from the first one.
I know I'm gonna sound bad, but the interviewer lady, and then the officer chick,
yeah, not great.
she didn't know how to put emotions into certain things, or was off on which emotion to use at which time, and I was like,
so when she was scared, she like got too loud.
yeah,
And it was just like, okay, we need to bring it back a little bit. We're supposed to be traumatized, not we're supposed to be like in a comatose state, not full PTSD mode.
she would be emotional, but then she had to explain something in which it would like flip completely over, and she's like, and that was like that.
Yeah. And then then the thing came down and grabbed Jared and flew away. So, but the first part is just her recounting of the first few hours of the invasion, and they call the horror
The Gestalt.
They call it the Gestalt, and I don't know why. Do you know why they called it that?
No, they don't say why. They just said that it was called that because the soldier didn't know they were called that. And then the interviewer lady's like, I don't know why they're called that, but they're called the Gestalt. And I was like, okay.
It's like, all right.
I thought you were writing the history. You don't know the
History,
You don't know why.
But yeah, for some reason they call the horror Gestalt. Maybe it's after one of the scientists. There's a lot to this world, and I didn't go back and revisit it, so I apologize.
Maybe they played Nier, and they're like, that's a good name for a thing.
What about 2B? So,
Well, the first Nier.
Oh wow, first year.
Yeah.
With the guy with the book and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that one, and then the second one is basically a few weeks into the Gestalt's invasion of our world, because it talks about how it moved from the mountains of Central America, which I'm pretty sure is Colorado, is where it's supposed to be, into like South America and all the way down to Panama City, basically. And this was the perspective of one of the soldiers that was in that first wave to try to go out and see what was going on, why they kept losing contact with the towns, and they kept, losing people, but for the bodies were being like dragged off and they couldn't find people. So this soldier and his little squad go out into a city, or I guess, yeah, it's a city, and there's nobody around, no bodies, no living organisms, no birds, no squirrels, and they're like, wow, everything's gone.
It was an urban environment, because he says urban environment quite a bit.
Yeah, urban.
Because he's like,
we get it.
Like 8 times he's like, it's just weird that it would happen in like this urban area, this suburb or whatever. And I was like, okay, we get it.
But it it kind of goes through like some of the tropes of there was not a single thing around. It was so scary. It was so quiet. Your pin drops, that kind of stuff. So they try to take a look around at some more of the houses that they're trying to patrol through, and they come across this one where all the windows are missing, all the glass is missing, and they're like, that's very odd. So they go further and further, and they get into like this one area of this house where they can't open the door. That's what's going on. So they
push Johnson. Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm glad the QuickTime event was here to tell me that. But they can't get into this room, so they put little fisheye cameras, like those little stick cameras that you go under doors. And what they see is this basically. I liked this visual. I thought it was kind of cool. I've seen some Reddit drawings of it, but it's basically this family, not really family, but these people surrounding this this dinner table, and they're all basically, they have tubes that are basically inserted into the tops of their head that are pulling up, where he's like, we couldn't even see their eyes because their faces were pulled up so high. But they're just basically they're force feeding themselves just organic material. And these tubes are leading somewhere into the basement where it's feeding something that they can't see. And, he's just like, I forgot, what was that? There were 2 girl soldiers, and I forgot their names.
One started with a B. I forget her name. It was like...
Matt or Bernetti or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. And then Bernetti and Maya. Yeah. So he used to talk like Bernetti dropped the camera and I had to take a look and this is what I saw. And
which is weird for a house, not impossible or not. It's not impossible, but to have a doorway to the dining room. Usually that's an open area.
An open door, yeah. But, they're like, okay, we need to get the F out. And they try to make their way out, and basically they keep hearing like this fluttering and all that kind of stuff. And they look up, and it's those, winged things, but they're also shooting glass at them. It's like to basically be like, what do you call it? Glass cannons from, or not needlers from Halo, and they're basically shooting glass at them, and they're starting to pick off the soldiers one by one, and like there's this tentacle that comes out from like the basement door and grabs one of them and starts dragging them in, and he's just like, this one part, it's like I just heard him screaming, he wouldn't stop screaming.
There's a part I think when they're looking through the door, and he mentions like, what's her name didn't yell, but unfortunately I did. But he's fine. Like, why would you say
like mentally? Yeah, mentally, yeah. So
even physically, like he didn't get killed or anything. Like,
well, that's the things like the Gestalt didn't like take notice of them inside the house. It wasn't until they were outside that they decided to attack. And I forgot what happens, but they basically get trapped in this area where they're running from it, and it's like the whole area, or this whole like, I don't think it's wooded area is covered in leaves and stuff. They're like, oh, okay, we made it out of there. We don't know exactly what we're facing, but it's something.
It'd be beautiful if there was something alive in there, or whatever he said.
Yeah. It's something really cringy. But again, they're like in this wooded area, and there's like a bed of leaves coating like this entire like little glade. That's what it's called. And then he's like, then it happened. All the forest bed came alive. Basically, it's like this one giant flat organism that had fused all of the woodland creatures and like grabbed one person. And he's like, just go. He's like,
oh, didn't that person's back break? And he's just like, get out of here.
Go on without me. Just go. A good soldier never leaves a man behind.
He's like, get out of here. He's like, it broke his back. I'm just like, whoa, my God. But he's like, and then him and another, I think it was
Bernetti?
Maya. No, I think it was Maya that made it out. He's like, we ran, and we wanted him to come out, or we wanted to go back for him, but we knew we couldn't go back. And you just hear the guy screaming the entire time. And then they look back, and the forest is finally coming alive, and we see like basically some of the other monsters we've seen from the first one. Like he says, they saw multiple spider amalgamations of people, because the Gestalt, if you guys haven't remembered or not, The assault basically is like the thing. It fuses people and makes like whatever it wants to out of the matter of whatever it consumes. And so you have like it talks about like it's like I saw the centipede with the head of it with a bobcat.
So, the one I remember is the deer with the dog's head.
Dog's head, yeah. But also like the spiders that showed up in the very, very, very first one. Apparently, there are multiples of those. The winged bed sheets, because they call them bed sheets. Basically, it's basically a skin, is what it is.
Yeah.
Thin, thin and dainty. I don't look a day over 2,000.
Yeah. That was from the second one, wasn't it? From the hospital?
Yeah, the second one, where it's like attached to the building.
Yeah.
There's like tons of those. That was in the first part too. Or not the first part, the cops were telling. And, you know, they also see like other like tentacle beings. And again, like a centipede with the head of a bobcat came out and bit this guy in the neck.
That'd be pretty freaky.
But they said they ran and they got back to base and they, you know, quit. And
Is it like a centipede made of human bodies, or is it an actual centipede? Because if it's a centipede, that's what I was like. I was like, is it like an amalgamation thing where it's a bunch of body parts that look like a centipede, like the spiders?
Like the spider, yeah. But yeah, it just basically every creature that's in the canon from the past who have now come out of the woods and are trying to attack this group of soldiers. Well, him and Maya, I think, are the only ones that make it back, and they're just like, well, he's like, I didn't even talk to her. I couldn't talk to her, and honestly, that's kind of where this ends. It is like we don't really know what happened. We don't know how, you know, they got back. We don't know the state of the world after this attack.
Yeah.
So
we just know that Maya couldn't
unalived herself. Yeah.
Couldn't go on.
Could not make it anymore. Okay, and he talks about like the reason I thought about it was,
which is kind of crazy because she had a husband, and she just.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And this guy had like a family and everything else like that too.
Yeah.
He's talking about the only way that he remembered that Maya was even the thing was because he remembered this song that was playing while they were watching TV. He's like, she loved that song. And so
I know there's a little too much going on between them there.
That's what I was thinking. So yeah, that's kind of where the story ends, honestly. And like the interviewer's like, all right, that's it, click, and that's all we hear. So Jared, this is your fourth go around with this series. What's your impressions of this one?
This one was definitely the weakest. It was a little too long. They could have broke it up into maybe two. It'd be hard to break them up because both on their own aren't that very interesting.
It needed one more to finish out.
Yeah,
honestly, because it feels like we got left in the middle of it.
I did like the soldiers part a little more, just because there was more about the creatures, I guess. But yeah, most of my criticism is the readings, the two other people besides Mr. Creepypasta and the other guy. The other guy did really good.
Yeah, the soldier was good. I liked his.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely the weakest. There were some cool scenes, cool images, like the centipede with the bobcat face.
I think my favorite part's the dinner scene.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, that's genuinely creepy, and that's a cool visual.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Be cooler to see than to hear about.
So, sounds like a Cronenberg type of horror.
Yeah. There should be like a thing version of this, but yeah, not the best. Wasn't bad. There wasn't a lot of like cringy lines.
No, it keeps pretty. I don't want to say like the dialogue is great because it's not amazing, but it's better than some of the first ones.
I think it's because it was a police officer and a soldier, so There wasn't. They're not gonna say something cringy like some civilian, I guess. But yeah.
See, I remember when I first listened to this one, because I'm a big fan of the series. The first one's like probably my favorite. Besides, I mean, I love Ash Cloud. I love Ash Cloud's ending. I think Ash Cloud has the best ending, and I like the first one's like general story the most. This one I think is probably the weakest. I think you're right. But I remember listening to this one when I was going out of town working for that germ prevention company, and it was like at 10 p.m. at night, something like that. We were in a high school, and we were, cleaning up stuff, and I saw the notification on my phone. So, oh, a new one! So I immediately like put it on my earphones and started doing it. It's all creepy. I think that's why I liked it when I first listened to it. I think that's why I liked it the most, because it was the perfect environment for a creepypasta.
Yeah.
But when I went back and listened to this, I was like, oh, this isn't as strong as I remember. So
I don't think I like this format of horror, like World War Z or like.
Yeah, the after action journal thing, journalist, not even journalist type thing, doesn't really work very well for this one.
Yeah.
I did like in the first one, the very first one, where it was reading like the emails. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was cool.
It felt like a Resident Evil game when you're going through like the lab and stuff, trying to find out like, what is all this crap? What is this? And that
all
gave
this,
off a bit more.
All the supplemental material.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, yeah, definitely was heavily inspired by World War Z. So, but the production of it was still pretty good. We can word that shirt.
It's the creepiest thing in this house.
I know, right? But the production was good. The line reading was, for the most part, good. The two females definitely.
Both were probably their first, and I was like, it shows.
That's what I was thinking. So I'm trying to be like kind on that front.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But if I hear a second one from those two, the gloves are off.
That's all we got. But I mean, honestly, it's a decent addition.
Yeah.
It's fun. I enjoy the series a lot, so I'm always happy to see another title. Supposedly there's another one coming out. I don't know when.
Ash Cloud 2.
Yeah, the Ashen. Supposedly there's another one coming out, but again, it's harder to find this stuff. I don't know why it's hard to find like this writings. So
is this like a fully written story, or is it just like stuff that's still coming out?
Yeah, it's like Tales of the Gas Station type stuff, where when it's like bits and pieces. So, but yeah, that's all of this one. Do you have anything else to say about this one?
No, I think that's all for this one.
Cool. So I do have something for next time.
Oh my gosh.
But it's nothing like we've done before.
Brand new.
So I still don't know if we can do it, but I'm going to try to do it. So what I want to do is write a creepypasta like live, not live, but basically we're going to sit down, record this, and write a creepypasta using ChatGTP.
Okay.
And then what I want to do, because ChatGTP has a free reader where you can like choose the voice to read whatever you have printed out. We write this on That's Good Pasta, and then we put it out as a creepypasta on the channel.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll be able to. You guys will be able to listen to a creepypasta we wrote. So
that'd be cool.
But I think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, probably something short, under like 600 words or something like that.
Write a book.
Well, no, that's how you get really bad. That's how you get those smut novels on Amazon.
Hey man, we'd be millionaires.
That's true. We should just do that. We should just be smut. We should just be smut writers.
We should just write smut. That's the way to go.
How many times can you use throbbing in a sentence?
And then you gotta use those stupid titles that they all have, like Throne of I almost said Throne of Corn.
That's gonna be one of our T-shirts.
A thorn of corn.
But yeah, so that's what we're gonna try to do, because I was watching the Internet Historian, and they were doing they were just trying to do like a song from ChatGTP, and I was just like, shit, we could do this to write a creepypasta. I mean, not take it seriously, but it would be fun just to put in like single prompts and see if we can get a story out of it.
I know they did that on like Oni Plays. They did something like that.
Dang it! Why do they keep stealing my ideas?
Well, not creepypastas. They did like video games and like.
Well, I'm sorry, but just watch freaking Wendigoon and.
Oh, I know.
And Papa.
Once we put this up, they're gonna be like,
God,
"Hey, everybody, we made ChatGPT write us a creepypasta," and then we're gonna be like,
"It's not even like hyperbole, everybody. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, me and Jared come up with something, and then literally the same week of or the week before, they put theirs out. We're just like they're in the walls. I swear to God.
You just said,
like the Russian sleep experiment one, the Tales from the Gas Station one. What was the one that you had? The
house walkthrough.
The house one. The house walkthrough. That was the. Anyway, it's not. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's not fine. Get out of here. Get out of our walls. Stop watching us.
So yeah. So that's about all we got for today, I think. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please go check out the original video. We'll link it in the description down below. Jared?
No.
Dang it. And yeah, and we're gonna try to get back in about a week and a half or so. Still going through school, so my schedule's kind of hectic. But we will try to get the original That's Good Pasta, Creepy Pasta, written for you guys. So look forward to that. Hope we can do it, because it sounds like a lot of fun, especially for Halloween. So anyway, and that's it. So everybody stay creepy out there.